And where do we have to start to understand this? Like, I want to be a much better conversationalist, and I want to be a much more effective communicator. I want to argue less. I want to talk more. I
Yeah.
want to be heard more. This is probably reflective of most people listening right now. So if I was a student of yours coming in to be trained by you, where is the first place you would start with me?
Number one,
Yeah.
you say it with control.
Okay. What do you mean by that?
Yeah. So when you're in an argument with somebody, what happens automatically is your fight or flight starts to take over, even in a little argument, even in the especially even in the small ones. If I disagree with your opinion, your fight or flight kicks in because your body's saying, hey, I'm being undermined. Your mind is telling you, hey, I didn't like that. What he's saying is different from what I'm saying. You know what? We're going to think of some other things. It's going to put that down. Immediately, what I want to do is say something that is going to fight. In other words, I'm going to hurt you. I want to say something that's going to cut you. I want to say something that is hurtful. Or we run from it. You ever had somebody been on the phone and go, I'm over this, and they hang up?
Yeah.
Or they go, I'm out of here. You know what? Forget this. And they go and slam the door. That's their flight. They're leaving. I feel threatened in this current moment by this conflict, by this differing view, so I need to get out of it. When you decide to say it with control, you make sure that that doesn't happen. And it all begins with your breath. All right, that's the key. So what I teach every one of my clients is let your breath be the first word that you say. So we'll run through it right now.
Okay.
That's cool.
Yeah.
All right, so let's do it an exaggerated one. And what this is called, and it takes advantage of, is a physiological sigh. So what we're going to do is 2 seconds in through the nose, one more at the top, and then go, yeah, okay. How do you feel after you do that?
Very relaxed.
Yeah, all right, cool. So what we're going to do is get a shortcut to that exact result. This time, we're going to do it, same thing, but don't make the noise. One more at the top. Through the mouth again. Now, instead of the mouth, only through the nose. Ready? Now we did that almost a little, that was very intentional. So let's do it again, but give it a haircut as if like you're not even gonna get me to notice. Ready? That right there.
Mm-hmm.
Now that is your go-to. Whenever somebody is telling you something that you disagree with, that is your go-to before you even say your first word, because it is going to make sure that that fight or flight never kicks in. It keeps that analytical side, that logical side in it the whole time. Instead of going, oh, but wait, they can't yell at me like that. No, that's a dumb idea. Can you believe that you say, instead of that, that's your fight or flight. You never even gave yourself a chance to breathe. When you breathe and use that, what I call a conversational breath, now it allows you to go, I wonder where this is coming from. I wonder why they said it like that. Now it allows you to kind of stay detached from that current moment because you're injecting your breath into it. When you allow yourself to breathe, then it's going to keep you much calmer. And so anytime I have a client that maybe is getting a question from an attorney that would be triggering to them or upsetting to them, it's always the training of use your breath while they're asking the question and start getting really curious as to why they're asking that. What's the point that they're trying to prove? Don't look at the surface of the question. Look at the intent behind it. Where are they trying to take you? Whenever I can teach them that, it's a very powerful result.
And to do that, I have to kind of be comfortable with the fact that there will be a pause between my response and their question.
Yeah.
Which is quite uncomfortable for a lot of people.
You'd think, but the more they do it, the better it becomes. In fact, I like it because it tells you that I actually listened. So let's say, for example, ask me about just say, how was your day, Jefferson?
How was your day, Jefferson?
It was good. It was good. My day was great. It was a day. Ask me again.
How was your day, Jefferson?
It was good. It was a good day. I liked it. You see how one says, I didn't even think about what you asked me?
Yeah.
The other says, no, I actually thought about the question. I considered it.
Yeah.
And then I chose my answer. And so that you can do that even when, especially for leaders, they go into a very busy work environment where there are problems right on the floor. They have to address this right at that current moment. The bad leaders will get very hectic and rise to that same level of energy. The great leaders will capture the calm energy. They inject that breath and go, okay, what's next? Have you ever, my grandfather, for example, I can ask him, one time I was like, hey, do you know where your screwdriver is? And he goes, yeah. I mean, like, you know what I mean? Like, I mean, but there's something about it where these kind of people in your life that you're looking and drawn to the calm energy, the anchors in your relationship, in your conversations, the people that just to be near them calms you down. Just to be around them, you go, okay, great. Steven's here. I feel better. Good. Okay, he's here. All right, things are going to go all right. Because they're looking for the person who is going to be the lead, not just in the conversation, but the frequency of the room. It's a calm energy that you have to capture.